Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out-of-this-world story from rSpace. Me, 43 male, with my wife, 21 female? 20 years, I did something stupid at the start of our relationship and never said a word. I really think that's not supposed to be 21 female because that would make her 1. So just expect a typo. Yes, I'm a cheater, and I don't quite know how to handle the situation now. I feel I have to own up, but I'm not sure how after all this time. I left my own country and came to a city in hers with a job offer in 1999, not speaking a word of her language. She spoke English just fine. We originally met in my country when she was on holiday. The city I was in was far away from hers, and we were in a long-distance relationship for 2 years, seeing each other perhaps every month. It wasn't the best situation, but we made it work until I did something stupid on New Year's Day 2000. There was a huge expat party I attended. I was being flirty with a girl and not expecting it to go anywhere, and, well, it went somewhere. I woke the next day with her in my bed and felt like crap. I felt I had to tell my girlfriend I had betrayed her. It was completely my fault, and I'm not trying to absolve myself of that. I started packing, started deciding what I was going to say and how I didn't really want to be in this country any longer because it made me do things I would never have done at home. I felt lonely and tired and trapped. However, she called me up the day after and told me her mother was having a cancer scare. She had to go to her hometown right away and needed me with her for this. I agreed, thinking we would talk at some point once this scare was over. Well, days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. I stopped drinking entirely. My last drink was in 2000, and much more self-aware around people. I learned the language, made some local friends, dropped my old friends who were there for the easy money, and my wife helped me through everything. She kept saying how she thought it may not work at the beginning, but she saw this change in me, wasn't sure where it came from, but was more in love with me than ever. So I buried it. I buried it at the bottom of my soul for 20 years and haven't given it much thought until recently because otherwise the guilt would kill me, which it now is. I want to tell her, but I have no idea where to even start. I even asked her if she'd want to know if I did anything, and she told me no. See, the culture here is all about face and losing it, or causing someone to lose it is a huge no. I know her family would pressure her to stay with me after I told her, even if she didn't want to. I also know I've robbed 20 years of life from my beautiful wife and never revealed what a bastard I could be. Alright, that was a quick story. Let's see what the community thinks. Slang Witch says, she has directly told you she doesn't want to know. Based on that, you should live with your guilt and not tell her. Get a therapist to talk with to try and address those feelings. Never cheat again. And it sounds like you have not. You want to confess in order to assuage your own pain by giving her new pain. That's not about what's good for her. That's only about you. What feels like a distant betrayal that gives you moments of guilt will feel like an immediate and new betrayal to her, and I don't think you really realize how intense that will be for her. If she were adamant about wanting to know, then yes, you would need to tell her, but she has told you not to say anything. Even just asking her that question has probably tipped her off about it, so drop it now. If she ever directly asks you about it, be honest with her, but don't force her to know something she's told you she doesn't want to know. She may feel unable to do anything about it now, whether that's forgiving you or leaving you, so she would be utterly stuck in a marriage that causes her pain for the rest of her life. If her only real options once she knows are suffering from private pain, knowing you cheated but staying married to you, or public shame, knowing you cheated and leaving you, to the detriment of her public image, then why do this to her? I can understand her desire not to know under these conditions. She wants to love her husband, and the time for vetting you is well past. She's now stuck in a marriage, and it's important to her that she feel she at least made the right choice in terms of who to stick with. The time for your honesty was before you married her. To be clear, I would almost always suggest honesty, but this was over 2 decades ago, a one-time mistake that changed you for the better, and she has directly told you not to tell her. All of this combined indicates that it's now your duty to bear this guilt on your own and to be a wonderful husband to her. Why do you want her to end up suffering for the rest of her life over a mistake that you decided she didn't get to know at a time where she could have still chosen to leave you? She may still someday come to you ready to hear it, so if that happens, you're ethically bound to be honest. But telling her against her will about something that she feels no actual power to address is honestly just selfish cruelty. She wants you to bear the burden of your betrayal so that she doesn't have to suffer. I think you can give her that as your retribution for the dishonesty and betrayal. You kept her ignorant to information that would have impacted her choice to end things at a time where she could regroup and build a life with someone else. She obviously feels incapable of rebuilding without you now due to the society she lives in. Don't make her face it unless she is actually ready to know. Moving on. I think my 31 fiancé is cheating on me, 32 male. I strongly suspect now, and I'm horrified of the implications. We're getting married in September. I have a daughter with her. I don't know what I'll do without her. I've been dating her since my final year of college. We have a child together a few years back, and moved in together. I wanted to marry her when the time was right. I started suspecting she was cheating when she left her phone with me on accident. I was prepping to bring it back to her when I saw a text from a guy named Rob. I thought it was strange as I know all her friends and I know of nobody named Rob. I didn't snoop. A couple hours later, she gets a call from Rob. Twice he calls. I shrug this off and don't press the issue. I don't snoop. Well, last Friday, I was home with my daughter. I was off for the day and going to surprise her at work with lunch. I head towards her workplace and find out she never showed up. Panic begins to set in and I call her phone. No answer. I start thinking the worst has happened. I stop off at the store to get some fresh diapers across the street. Who do I see? My fiancée with another man. Alarms went off. 1. She's supposed to be at work. 2. Who the hell is this dude she's dressed up for and looks like she's on a date? 3. Why is she with him at our favorite restaurant to go on dates? The same place I proposed to her. I'm in my car and can see her laughing and chatting. I want to do a test. I call her cell and she picks up and rushes towards a better location. She picks up the phone and seems agitated. She doesn't seem to want to chat and she's really busy and can't talk. I tell her I made her lunch, but she says she already is going to get something at work and she's really busy and will be out late. She heads back. I leave feeling rejected. I didn't confront her that night. I couldn't bear to do so. But I know something's going on now. My friend said she saw her with another guy holding hands. She asked me about that. Also, I've noticed how she doesn't get into our role plays anymore or want to have sex. She always has an excuse. She's been cold to me lately. But then when I mention the wedding, she gets happy and excited. I can't figure out why she's having such bizarre mood swings. Why? Why would she do so? Our sex life could be better, sure, but I got a new promotion and a nice pay raise with it. We have a family now. We're talking about moving into a home and maybe even having another child. Her career is growing too. Life is excellent for us. Why? Why would she do this to me? What reason could she have? All right, community. Tell him, what reason could she have? Drunk on Martinis says, why would she do this to me? What reason could she have? She wants her cake and to eat it too, like every cheater on the planet. She wants the nice, stable, happy family home life with a husband who makes good money. But she also wants the sexy flings and the excitement of meeting someone new, the new relationship energy, the endless possibilities, the lack of responsibility or obligation to a relationship. She wants it all, and she's willing to live a double life to do it, and hurt you. Either way, don't let this drag on. Confront her, tell her you know, decide if you can forgive her and what you'd need to do so. Cancel or at least postpone the wedding. Marriage is for monogamy unless otherwise agreed to. You'd be wasting your time marrying someone who's actively cheating. Cinnabite says, you can't forgive this, but you could try. However, I know that this is the life she prefers. The husband and the boyfriend. This is not an accidental thing. This is a straight up two-faced deception and betrayal. You cannot and should not marry a person like this. They're not wired for it. Furthermore, confront for what? Horrible advice? Telling her everything you know about it? Absolutely not. She will use that information to craft a narrative. She will never tell him the sordid details and clandestine meetings. And what does knowing do for him anyway? It is over. Dr. H. Dez says, dude, you need to call off the wedding to start with. You already know she's cheating. It's not a suspicion. You just have to accept it. There are 10,000 reasons why people cheat. Only she can provide the one that fits her. At the end, you have to decide if you want to stay with her or not, under what conditions, and talk to her about boundaries and to see if she's willing to work this out. My guess is that she probably wants the wedding, but not the marriage. Okay, one more story. I think my husband is up to something. I, female 39, cannot figure out what the hell is going on with my husband, male 40. We've been together for 20 years, married for 15. We have a nice life together. We get along well. We have sex probably at least 5 times a week. We have good jobs. We make pretty decent money, own a house, yada yada. About 2 months ago, my "what the hell is this nonsense?" alarm started going off. My husband works in the financial industry. He works in an office full of men, mostly, but they hired 4 women about 2 months ago. None of these women are particularly attractive. However, one of the women he immediately started talking about. He would just mention her in passing, Nothing that I was worried about until one day he had to go speak with her about something office related, and this is when he started acting really weird. He mentions to me that he had to have a meeting with one of the new girls. I forget what her name is. This is red flag number 1 because this man has never forgotten anyone's name, ever. Over the next 2 weeks, he brings her up a few times when he is talking about work, but he always says something like, "The girl at my office, I think her name is Becky." In my head, I'm thinking, you know her damn name. Stop acting like you don't. I am a firm believer that people, especially men, will tell half-truths when they are doing something they shouldn't be, and this is why he tells me about having to deal with her, but pretends he can't remember her name. Truthfully, I feel like he is either cheating on me or trying to figure a way to cheat. Here are the reasons I think this. Aside from the name thing I mentioned above, he suddenly got very interested in one specific sexual thing that he was never interested in before. And by very interested, I mean it's all he talked about. He has a phone for work. His boss provides iPhones for all the employees, and one day, out of the blue, he says, "I got a weird message on my work phone today. It was from some woman telling me she wanted something." And that was the end of the conversation. He changed the subject. This again goes along with my theory that half-truths are being told. We carpool together because we live very far away from the town we both work in. It's actually a different state, right across the border. One day, when I was pulling up to get him, I was a little early, and I could swear I watched him and one of the women walk away from her car and around to the front of the office. I was so completely caught off guard that I didn't really register what I was seeing, and truthfully, I would not swear that it was him. I just thought, wait, did I just see that? I have caught him without his wedding ring at least 3 times in the last 2 weeks. This morning, I was dropping him off. Becky pulls in behind us, gets out of her car and glares at me, waits until I start to turn my head, and does this little wave thing to my husband. All of this combined with the fact that I just have this feeling in my gut that something is going on, and I'm about to flip out. I keep trying to bring this up with him, and he gets mad, like so mad that he will not even talk to me about any of it, and accuses me of just trying to start crap. I think we know where this is going, but community, let's see what you gotta say. Dragonflies Love Me says, "Becky sounds really interesting. Let's go to dinner with her and her boyfriend on Saturday." It will probably never happen, but if you do get a chance to meet her, watch their interactions and be sure to be nice but firm with her, so she feels like a petty, classless piece of crap for giving you that glare. He probably doesn't want you two to meet though. The OP's response? He would never go for that, and even if I managed to talk him into it, if I saw anything that was not okay, I might come unhinged. I'm just gonna go the showing up early route and then potentially hire a PI. Indil47 says, "Stay out of any further interactions regarding Becca, or is it Becky? Do not become unhinged, and definitely get a PI. Stay cool, calm, and collected. And in the meantime, get your assets together."